I got into my car and pulled away, leaving Molly sitting there behind me. She was probably overwhelmed, confused, anxious, her mind spinning with questions about what had just unfolded. I knew it wasn't easy for her to take in, but I couldn't stay any longer. The truth I'd uncovered was a weight I could no longer carry beside her. Tonight wasn't about confrontation or anger. It was about survival. About taking the first real step toward rebuilding my life, one that no longer included her. As I drove through the quiet streets, the night air slipped through the open window, cool and steady. The city lights blurred past, each one a reminder of the life I was leaving behind. The hum of the engine was steady, almost like it was breathing for me, when I couldn't anymore. My hands were still shaking. I could still see her face, that flicker of guilt when she realized I knew. The way her mouth opened but no words came. For a moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. I thought about the night she said she was working late, the text messages that didn't feel quite right, the sudden laughter from another room when she thought I couldn't hear. I wanted to believe her. God, I tried to, but love can't survive on denial. And when I finally found the messages, when I saw the pictures, the dates, the names, the world I'd built with her cracked clean in half. Now, all I had left was the road ahead and the soft hum of my car's engine keeping me from falling apart. When I finally pulled up to Gabriel's house, I saw the soft glow of his porch light waiting like a beacon. Gabriel and his wife Rose had always been my anchors, the kind of people whose home carried a warmth that asked nothing from you except honesty. The scent of lasagna drifted through the night air as I stepped out of the car. Somehow, that simple smell almost broke me. It reminded me of what safety felt like, something I hadn't known for a long time. Gabriel opened the door before I could even knock. "Mason," he said with his usual hearty tone, though I caught the flicker of concern in his eyes. "Good to see you, man. Come on in." Rose appeared behind him, her gentle smile steady as ever. "You look like you've had a rough few days," she said softly. "Come inside. Let me get you something to eat." Their kindness disarmed me completely. I managed a weak smile and followed them in, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle deeper with each step. The confession. We sat around the table, the three of us, and for a little while, I tried to act normal. We talked about work, about Gabriel's new construction project, about nothing that mattered. But the truth sat between us like a fourth guest no one could ignore. Finally, Rose reached across the table, her voice low and warm. "Mason, you don't have to talk if you're not ready. But if you need to, we're here." For a long time, I just stared at the lasagna on my plate. Then, slowly, the words came. "It's Molly," I said quietly. "She's been unfaithful." The silence that followed was heavy. Gabriel's expression froze, the disbelief, the anger, the sadness. Rose's eyes filled with quiet sympathy. "I'm so sorry," Gabriel said finally. Rose reached out, resting her hand over mine. "That must hurt more than I can imagine." I nodded, swallowing hard. "It wasn't just one mistake," I said, voice trembling. "It was, with my boss. And his son. And a few of his friends. I have proof. But knowing it, seeing it, it's unbearable." Gabriel's jaw tightened. "Brad," he said sharply. "Your boss Brad?" I nodded. He leaned back, shaking his head. "I can't believe he'd do that. That's beyond low." Rose's voice was gentler. "You don't have to face this alone, Mason. You've got us. And you'll get through this, I promise." For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to relief. Not because the pain was gone, it wasn't, but because I wasn't carrying it alone anymore. Later that night, I stayed in their guest room. I didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, memories flooded back, laughter, holidays, her hand in mine, all those small, ordinary moments that suddenly meant nothing. I realized then, when betrayal enters a relationship, it doesn't just take away love. It rewrites every memory, turning warmth into a lie. The return. The next morning, I woke to the sound of rain against the window. It was the kind of gray morning that makes the world feel quieter, smaller. Gabriel was already up, sipping coffee at the kitchen table. He looked up as I entered. "You should stay a few days, Mason. Don't rush into decisions." But I already knew I couldn't hide forever. There were things I needed to say, and things I needed to end. So I thanked them both, promised I'd check in later, and got back in my car. The drive home felt longer than it should have. Every street looked different, heavier somehow, like the city itself knew what I was returning to. When I pulled into the driveway, Molly's car was still there. The curtains were drawn. For a moment, I sat in the driver's seat, my hands gripping the steering wheel, heart pounding. Then I got out and walked to the door. She opened it before I could knock, eyes red, hair messy, wearing one of my old sweatshirts like it was armor. "Mason," she whispered. "Please, can we talk?" I didn't trust my voice, so I nodded. We sat in the living room, the same place where, months ago, we'd planned our future. Now it felt like a courtroom. She started first. "I made mistakes," she said, voice trembling. "I know that. But it wasn't about you. It was about me feeling lost, unseen. I'm not excusing it, I just..." Her words blurred together. Excuses always sound the same when you've already heard the truth. When she reached for my hand, I pulled away. "You broke something that doesn't fix," I said quietly. "You didn't just cheat on me, Molly. You turned our life into a lie." Tears welled in her eyes. "I still love you," she whispered. I shook my head. "Then you should have protected that love instead of destroying it." There was a long silence. Just the sound of rain on the windows. I stood up and looked around the room one last time, the photos, the furniture, the memories I no longer wanted. Then I said the words that finally set me free. "I'm leaving, Molly. For good this time." And I walked out before she could answer. The drive away, reprise. The sky had started to clear by the time I reached the main road. The rain had washed everything clean, the streets, the air, maybe even a part of me. As I drove, the world felt lighter, quieter. The anger had faded, replaced by something calmer, not peace exactly, but acceptance. At a red light, I looked at my reflection in the rearview mirror. I saw a man who had finally stopped pretending. There was pain in his eyes, yes. But also resolve. When the light turned green, I pressed the pedal and watched the city fade behind me. Every mile that passed felt like a small act of healing, like shedding a skin I'd been trapped in for too long. I didn't know where I was going yet, maybe to the coast, maybe just far enough that the memories couldn't follow. All I knew was this: sometimes leaving isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the only way to start again. I thought of Gabriel and Rose, their warmth, their quiet understanding, and realized not all love ends in betrayal. Some love simply stays, waiting for you to come back to yourself. As the highway opened up ahead of me, I rolled down the window and let the wind rush through the car. The world was still spinning, still alive, still full of second chances. And for the first time in a long time, I felt ready to face it. Because sometimes, the most powerful moment in a story of betrayal isn't the confrontation. It's the drive away.